Now, the reason he came in our office is he was charged with a tax code violation, and the firm was known as a tax firm. So if you got a tax law violation, you go to a tax attorney, and I'm what you end up with, I guess. Now, this was still under the Lyndon Johnson administration, and things hadn't quite solidified to the battle in which we became embroiled at a later date. So I get a call, and it turned out this kid's grandfather was a prominent senator from a southern state, and his aide called. His aide said, "Well, we've been checking you out. You're just out of law school. Who the hell do you think you are that you can represent this kid?" And I said, "Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm the only lawyer in this fucking town that will take the case." Well, at that point, he wired some money to me, and I wired it back. And the guy called, and he said, "Just because you found out who we are doesn't mean you can up your fee now." I said, "No, I didn't up my fee. I'm not taking the goddamn case." He said, "What? Why not?" I said, "Because I'm insulted. Take your money and buy someone else. I'm not taking it." So the next thing I know, the kid comes into my office whining, crying, etc., and was very upset because I wouldn't take his case. And he'd been to other lawyers and they wouldn't take his case at all. And I explained that I was pissed off at his grandfather's office, and I was pissed off at the way they treated me. And at that point, we came to an agreement that Gramps would give him the money and he would give it to me, and I wouldn't have any connection with the grandfather. Well, the case went along and we had a suppression hearing. And that's a hearing in which you contest the validity of the search. You claim the search was unconstitutional or some other way illegal, and because of what they called the exclusionary rule, the evidence couldn't be used in a prosecution. So in a drug case, if you claim or prove that the marijuana was illegally gained or gotten by the police, they had no corpus delicti or no marijuana to present, and the case had to die for lack of evidence. So we go to this hearing in Denver in front of the judge, because motions don't have juries. And the policemen testify that they were at the Exodus Club and saw this group perform and thought they looked suspicious because of their long hair, and they would check them out. And they found out that they were staying in an apartment a couple blocks away. So they thought, well, we'll check that out. And the testimony is that they checked it out and decided that they would go check their club license to see if they had a license to perform there. So on the way, they were walking down an alley and they smelled the whiff, or got a whiff of what they called or thought to be marijuana. So the testimony was the marijuana that they discerned was coming from a window 5 floors up. Or excuse me, not 5 floors, 3 floors up. So they climbed up the fire escape, and at the same time some of their party went around to the front door and looked in the window, and they saw some smoke coming out of an oven. Coupled with the smell of marijuana, they decided that was marijuana, and that they would have to raid the place and arrest the people for illegal possession thereof, which is what happened. And that was the story they related to the judge. Well, on cross-examination, I asked him how wide the alley was and asked a bunch of other questions, getting to their story and trying to pin them down on certain facts. And I said, now, are you sure it was 3 stories up and there was nothing on the ground, nothing burning there or anything else? Oh no, it was definitely coming from that window, they said. I said, okay. Well, tell me, when something's on fire, which way does the smoke generally go? Well, it goes up. Well, of course it goes up. Now, how did the smoke smell from the marijuana get 3 doors down the building into the alley? Well, they didn't know. And a few other questions, and finally I look at the judge and I said, you know, Judge, I don't know about you, but I think if I were you, I'd be really insulted by the story that these officers have been telling. It defies any kind of logic and knowledge, and not only is it a stupid story, but it is highly insulting. So I moved to dismiss and moved to suppress the evidence. And the judge says, well, Mr. Blewett, you're kind of right there. Their story doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. I don't know whether I'm insulted or not, but I'm going to grant your motion and dismiss the case. Well, after that, the Southern senator decided I was pretty good after all, and he started referring cases to me from down there. And that's how I started my interstate law marijuana practice. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.